Hey, I'm Ewashkiw from Adventure Yoga. Thanks for joining me today for this yoga sequence for complete beginners. Today, we're focusing on your hips. The idea with this class and this series of classes is that they are for students who are brand new to yoga. If that's you, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to work on some hip openers and hip strengtheners. You do need a couple of props for today. Something to sit on. So I'm going to use a bolster from my bed. You can also use a cushion or a blanket that you can fold up. And then the second prop is a strap. If you have a yoga strap, cool, you can grab that. But you can also use a belt or a tie or even a towel. So go grab those two things, have a seat on your cushion or blanket or whatever you've got, and I'll meet you there in just a couple of seconds. As I mentioned in the opening, please have something to sit on. Sit on something so that your knees are roughly as high as the top of your hips. Today we're going to work on hip opening, and that is one of the tools we can use to get some passive hip opening while we're sitting at the beginning of class. Sit up tall. Take your left hand, hold above your right knee. Take your right hand and touch your lower back. Stretch up through your spine and do a gentle twist. Before we get into opening our hips, let's open our spine. And then come back to center. With your right hand, hold above your left knee. Look forward, touch your lower back with your left hand. Sit up tall and twist to the left a little bit. And then come back to center. We're going to use the prop that you're sitting on a bit today. So just place it at the top of your mat or off to the side, somewhere where it's convenient. And then sit down on your butt with your knees bent, feet on the ground. Place your feet, 2 feet lengths away from your butt, roughly. And then place your hands back behind you and lean back on your hands a little. Pick your right knee up in towards your chest and then turn your right leg out. And then take your left hand, grab your right foot, and pick your right foot up and over your left knee. Now, if you can't do that with one hand, that's okay. You can always lean forward and use both hands to help. Turn your leg out and bring your right ankle above your left knee. Then place your hands back behind you again. Important here for knee safety is what's happening with your right foot. Make your right ankle roughly a 90-degree angle, like a strong ankle, not a weak angle, not a lazy ankle. Ankle, it's a hard word to say, but a strong ankle. Technically called dorsiflexion, but this is not an anatomy lesson. Push your right ankle into your left leg and push your right knee away from you. The tighter your hips are, the closer your right knee is going to be to your right shoulder. So find opening here by pushing your leg into your leg, so ankle into leg, right knee away. If you think about your right butt, tightening it up is going to help turn your right leg out, which is what we're doing when we push the knee forward. Often this is called deep glute stretch. But right now what we're doing is more activating the deep glute. We could turn it into a deep stretch, but we'll probably save that for another day. Because we want to do hip opening, which often is strengthening. Bring your right foot down to the ground. And then bring your left ankle above your right knee. You can lean in and grab your leg with both hands, or lean back on your left hand, grab your left ankle with your right hand, whatever works for you, to get your left ankle above your right knee. Then place both hands back behind you, lean back, engage your left ankle, and push your left shin into your right leg so you can start to move your left knee away from your left shoulder or forward. This is strengthening and engaging your glutes to help turn your left leg out. And then to bring your foot down, you can relax that a little so your left knee comes towards you. You can use your hands or just use your muscles to pick your left leg up and bring your left foot down to the ground. Now come into all fours. If you have sensitive knees, it can hurt your knees a little to be on all fours, so you can always place the blanket, if you've got it, underneath your knees. That can help it be a little less painful. Bring your shoulders over your wrists. And then this one is fun. Lift your left leg up. Keep your left knee bent. Stretch your left knee back. Let's just lift your leg. Again, this is working to strengthen your butt muscles. And then turn your left knee out to the side. I told you this was fun. I call this one dog peeing pose. So lift your left knee out to the side. Keep your left knee bent. And then lift your knee a little higher. Hip opening involves glute strengthening often. And then bring your left knee down. Then we'll go to the other side. So pick your right leg up, keep your knee bent, stretch your right knee back. And then dog peeing pose. Open your right knee out to the side. Lift your right knee a little higher. And then bring your right knee down. We'll do that again. We're going to add a movement to it. So stretch your left leg back, keep your knee bent, turn the sole of your left foot up to the ceiling, lift your knee. And then open your left knee up to the side. Lift your knee, keep your left knee bent. And then go back to that first position, stretching your left knee back, and then point your toes. Lift your knee up higher. Look forward, lift your chest up. So do a little back bend here, opening up the hip in a different direction. This is called hip extension, what's happening in your left leg. And then bring your knee down. Stretch your right knee back, bend your knee. So we get a little bit of hip extension here. That's opening the front of your hip. Then open your right knee out to the side, and that's external rotation of your hip. Lift your right knee a little higher in your dog peeing pose. And then come back to that first position. Point your toes, extend your right hip more. So lift your knee higher. Open up the front of your right hip more, look forward, add a little back bend. And then bring your right knee down. And stand up. Stand with your feet a little bit apart. And stretch your arms down at your sides. Tadasana. Push down through your left foot. Bring your left hand onto your waist. And then turn your right leg out. You also don't need to know the terms hip flexion, hip extension, external rotation. Don't get hung up on those. It's just to help educate you a little bit, and maybe one day those terms will become things that you know. Bring your right heel and touch your left ankle. And then start to slide your right foot up your left leg. If it's hard to balance on one leg, that's absolutely fine. You can take your left hand and touch the wall. So if you need to move so that you can touch the wall, I think I can even reach back. Yeah, there it is. I can touch it with my hand reaching back behind me for balance. Have your right foot on the inside of your left leg and see about sliding it above your left knee. You can use your right hand, reach down and pick it up. And if you can go above your knee, go above your knee. But don't push your right foot into your left knee, because the knee joint is just a hinge joint. Unlike the hip, it doesn't like to go sideways. So, right foot on the inside of your left leg, above or below your knee. It can be foot on the ground, toes touching, touching the inside of your ankle, foot on your calf muscle, or all the way above your left knee. If you can bring your hand off the wall or off whatever you're using for support, bring your hands to your hips and see about bringing your hands in front of your heart. This is tree pose. Push your left leg into your right foot. Push your right foot into your left leg. Then think about your right butt. Engage your right butt. Squeeze it tight so that your right knee starts to stretch out to the right a little bit more. While tree pose is a one-leg standing pose, it also asks for a lot of hip opening. Smile. And bring your right leg down. I know, there's a lot of talking when you come to Stephen's yoga classes. Sorry about that. Not sorry. This is how we learn, partly. Partly by doing, partly by seeing, partly by hearing. We all have different ways we learn. Bring your right hand onto your waist. Turn your left leg out, lift your left heel up. And then slide your left foot in so that your left ankle touches your right leg. You can stay here. Or, if you have more, bring your left foot up and place your left foot on your calf muscle. You can see here I'm wobbling and weaving, and it's like already tough to balance here. So stay here, or if you want to take it further, bring your left foot all the way above your right knee. So I'm going to use my hand. I'm going to flex at my hip a little bit, fold in and grab my left foot so that I can find my stability, place my right foot on my left leg. So right foot high on your left leg or below your knee, or toes on the ground touching your ankle. It's all tree pose. If you can bring your hands off the wall, bring your hands to your hips, or bring your hands to your heart. Tree pose. It's also called Vrksasana. And then release your leg, release your hands. Let's do that one more time, a little bit faster. Bring your left hand under your hip or touch the wall. Turn your right leg out. Find the placement of your right foot on your left leg, below your knee or above your knee, somewhere. Bring your hands to your heart. Push your leg and foot into each other. Stretch up through your spine. Stretch out through your right knee. Tree pose. Bring your right foot down. Turn your left leg out. Bring your left foot up for tree pose, above or below your knee. Hands touching the wall for support, or to your hips, or to your heart. Push your right leg into your left foot. Push your left foot into your right leg. Tighten up your left butt. Stretch out for your left knee. Tree. And Tadasana. Put your arms down at your sides. And then, if you have turned to face the side of your mat like I was, stand at the top of your mat. Stretch your arms down at your sides. Make your feet straight or parallel to each other. Tadasana. You can learn more about that in my standing pose class or my essential poses class. And then fold forward, bend your knees, and touch the ground. Step your right leg back and bring your right knee down to the ground. Walk your left foot over to the left a little bit. Then bring your left hand, left arm inside your left leg. And then see if you can bring your right forearm down to the ground. If you can't, that's okay. And see if you can bring your left forearm down to the ground. Again, if you can't, that's okay. Simply bend your elbows and lower your chest. That's the other option. So try forearms down, and if it doesn't work, have your hands flat, bend your elbows. Push your hips down and forward. So tighten up your right butt so you can open the front of your right hip a little bit more. Keep your left foot flat on the ground and lean your left knee out to the left a little. And look forward. Forearm lunge. And then if you're on your forearms, place your hands flat. Bring your left hand, left arm outside your left foot. Walk your left foot back in a little. Come up onto your fingertips and bring your right knee off the ground. And then step it forward. Step your left leg back. Walk your right foot over to the right. Bring your left knee down. Take your right arm inside your right leg. And let's see what happens on this side. See if you can bring your left forearm to the ground. And then your right forearm to the ground. If you can get one to the ground and not the other, do that. If it's like, no, Stephen, that's like way too complicated, just bend your elbows and look forward. Good option. Push your hips down and forward. So your right knee stretches forward, so your left hip starts to open up back behind you. And then keep your right foot flat on the ground, but open your right knee out to the side a little bit. And if you're on your forearms, place your right hand flat, place your left hand flat, straighten your arms, bring your right arm outside your right leg, walk your right foot in a little, come up to your fingertips, lift your left knee, and step forward, forward fold, touch the ground, and then step your right leg back again. Same thing, other side. First side. Walk your left foot over to the left, bring your right knee down to the ground. Bring your left arm inside your left leg, place your hands flat. Stay here and bend your elbows, or bring your forearms down. Push your hips down and forward. Keep your left foot flat and open your left knee out to the side. Forearm lunge or hands down, low lunge. This is a nice way to get deep into our hips. And then left hand flat, right hand flat if you're on your forearms. And change sides. Bring your left hand outside your left foot. Walk your left foot in a little. Come up on your fingertips. Lift your right knee and change sides. It can take a few steps. Step your right foot forward and step your left foot back. Bring your left knee down. Walk your right foot to the right. Bring your right arm inside your right leg. Place your hands flat. Bend your elbows back behind you. Lower your hips down and forward and move your chest forward. Or bring your forearms to the ground. Keep your right foot flat, open your right knee out to the side. So you should feel this in all sorts of places. In your butt muscles, in the front of your left hip, deep inside your right hip. Place your right hand flat, left hand flat. Walk your right foot in, bring your right arm outside your right leg. This time, step back. So step your right foot back, shift forward, and come all the way down to your belly. Keep your hands beside your chest and place your feet flat. Spread your toes. Lift your chest a little. Look forward. Move your shoulders back. Push down and lift your chest a little. To help open up the front of your body, squeeze your butt a little bit tight and push it down. Squeeze your legs in towards each other. They don't have to touch, but to activate the inner thighs. And then push your butt down so that you can lift up a little more. And then come down. And do it again. So pause. Push the tops of your feet down. Tighten up your butt. Push your butt down and lift your chest. And then lift your hips and come back into child's pose. So bring your big toes together, separate your knees a little bit, and sit back on your heels. Bring your forehead to the ground, or if that's not available, you can stack your hands to whatever height you need so you can rest your forehead there. Steady your breath. Come up to all fours. Bring your knees underneath your hips. Tuck your toes under. Lift your knees. Push your hips up and back. For a bent knee, downward facing dog. Move your chest back. Stretch out through your shoulders. And then bring your knees down to the ground. Swing your legs around to one side and sit down. Grab the prop that's going to go under your hips. So sit on it. And bring your feet together. So bring the soles of your feet together. Grab your feet and sit up tall. Push your feet together. Tighten up your butt and stretch out through your inner knees. This is called shoemaker pose or butterfly pose or bound angle pose, which is the translation of the Sanskrit, Baddha Konasana. Imagine that you can pull from your outer knees up into your butt and then stretch from your inner thigh out through your knees. That's going to help open the muscles that do this hip opening. Outer knees pulling up into your butt, inner groin stretching out through your knees. Then take your hands underneath your knees and bring your knees up together. Keep the prop nearby. I'm going to move it over to the left side of my mat because I know where we're going. So have it on the left side of your mat and then come back into downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up and then step your left leg forward. If you get stuck partway, totally normal. Come up onto your fingertips and then walk your left foot forward more. Bring your right knee down to the ground. Walk your hands forward a little. And then lean your left knee over to the side. And now what we want to do is point your left toes and bring the top of your shin to the ground. So sort of like this. Slide your left foot back, point your toes, bring the top of your foot, top of your shin to the ground. So your left foot is over near your right hip, your left knee is on the ground, a little bit wider than your left hip. So it's not knee straight ahead, it's knee angled off to the side. And then place your hands flat and use your toes on your back foot to walk your right knee back and walk your right knee back. And then find your prop and pull it and place it underneath your left butt. Especially when we're newer to yoga, your left hip will want to do one of two things. It'll be off the ground a lot, or you're going to want to roll over and sit down on your left butt. But we're looking to get our hips even in this pose. So left hip and right hip as high as each other. So using the prop under your hip will help with that. And then walk your hands forward a little, and if you can come down to your forearms here, do. This is called pigeon prep, or sometimes it's called pigeon pose. I like keeping my back toes on my right foot tucked underneath. It makes my right leg more powerful, stronger. And this isn't really a relaxing pose. It's a pose to do hip opening. So to help with that, pull your left knee and your right knee sort of energetically in towards each other. It will help engage your hips a little bit more. Draw everything in. And then bring your hands down. Lift your hips up a little. Grab your prop. If you can move it over to the other side of your mat now, do that. If your right foot is flat, tuck your toes. Lift your left knee up by pushing your left foot down. Lift your right knee up and go back into downward facing dog. And then we'll do the other side. Lift your right leg up. Bring your right knee forward. If you get stuck part way, know that that's totally normal. Come up to your fingertips and then start to walk your right foot forward, or you can use your right hand to help pull your right foot forward. Bring your left knee down to the ground. Walk your hands forward a little. You can do hands flat or fingertips. Walk your right foot over to the left a little, and then you have to sort of slide it back as you point your foot and bring the front of your foot to the top of your foot, front of your shin to the ground. Your right foot is back near your left hip. Have your right knee a little bit over to the right, not pointing straight ahead. And then use your toes on your left foot. Push down, lift your left knee up, and then move your hips back a little. And do that a couple more times. And then grab your prop and slide it under your right butt. Oh, that feels good. And then walk your hands forward a little more. And if you can come down to your forearms, come down to your forearms. I've got my strap right in front of me. We haven't used that yet, but we're going to use that on the pose we do after this. And that is our second last pose. So we're almost there, almost through these hip opening poses. Draw your knees in a little bit towards each other so you feel your hips engage a little bit more. Pigeon or pigeon prep. Walk your hands back. If your left foot is flat, tuck your toes, lift your hips a little, and move your prop out of the way. If you can move it all the way over to the other side of your mat, do that. And then push down for your right foot, lift your right knee, lift your left knee, and step it back to down dog. Stretch it out, lift your left leg, and pigeon the other side. See if you can do the pointing of your toes and turning of your leg out as you bring your leg forward. It's just a slightly different entry. Then slide your right foot back and bring your right knee down. Grab your prop and place it under your left hip. Because remember, I don't want you just dumping onto your left butt and sitting on the ground there. I want you to keep your hips even. Walk your hands forward. If you can come down to your forearms, do. Draw your knees towards each other. Pigeon, or pigeon prep. And that's it for this side, just to get you another taste of it. Bring your hands onto the ground. Lift your butt a little. Move your prop up and around to the other side. Tuck your right toes under if your foot's flat. Push down through your left foot. Push up and back, down dog. And then see if that entry works on this side. Lift your right leg. Point your toes. And as you bring your right knee forward, turn your leg out and bring the front of your shin down. So your right foot is near your left hip. And your right knee is a little bit wider than your right hip. Grab your prop, stick it underneath your right butt, and come down to your forearms or hands on the ground, walking them out in front of you a little. Pigeon. Bring your hands down, lift your hips up a little, bring the prop over to the left side of your mat again, and downward facing dog. And come down to your knees. And now we're going to finally need the strap. So find your strap, grab it, and bring it nearby. Bring your left knee to the middle of your mat, and take your right knee and push it in behind your left knee. Separate your feet a little bit, and walk your hands back, move your hips back, and then start to sit down. You want to sit down between your feet, so they have to be far enough apart that you could do that. Grab the prop, and we're actually going to want to put it under our right hip. So when we do it on this side, your left hip is lifted a lot. So we're going to lift up our right hip so that it comes up and is almost as high as our left hip. That's the idea. And then grab your strap. Take your right arm and reach up, and then place the strap in your right hand. Take your left hand, reach back, grab the strap. So reach back, bend your elbow, and grab the strap. Then pull on the strap, stretch up through your spine. Cow face pose, or Gomukhasana in Sanskrit. Push down through your feet and squeeze your legs together so that you can start to stick your butt back a little bit. And then release the strap. And I'm going to turn around so that you get a different camera angle for the other side. So walk your hands forward, come down to your knees, uncross your right leg from behind your left. You don't have to turn around here, but I'm going to. And then bring your right knee to the middle of your mat and tuck your left knee behind your right. Move your right foot over to the left foot over to the right, walk your hands back, and sit down between your feet. So here, it's my right hip that's off the ground a lot. So you actually want to lift your left hip up. So lean forward, you can use your hands to push down and lift up, and slide the prop under your left hip. That can seem a little counterintuitive because it's your left hip that's already on the ground, and we're lifting it up. but it's to help your hips get a little more balanced in space. And then take the strap, hold it in your right hand. Stretch your left arm up and bend your elbow. And then place the strap, mine's a little tangled, that happens sometimes. Place the strap in your left hand, and then reach your right arm back. Bend your elbow, so turn your palm back, bend your elbow, grab the strap. And then pull on the strap, and that's going to fire up your shoulders and your arms. Squeeze your legs together, push your feet down. Cow face pose or Gomukhasana. And then release the strap, release your hands, place the strap off to one side, walk your hands forward, lift your butt up, and uncross your legs. Keep the prop nearby. You might want that once more. Lie down on your back with your knees bent. Place your feet on the ground. Straighten your feet. Bend your elbows. Just a gentle bridge pose. So lift your hips up, push your upper arms down, and open up the front of your hips. Just a nice balanced cleansing pose before we end. And then come down. Stretch your legs out straight. Bring your arms down at your sides. Since we've got the prop here, you have a choice. So you can place it underneath your knees. I'll show you what that looks like. So underneath your knees, if it's a wide enough prop that it can be under both your knees, or it might be nice underneath your head as a little pillow. And then turn your legs out and separate your legs a little. Turn your palms up at your sides. And just wiggle a little if you need to straighten your body out and to settle. And if it's relaxing to close your eyes, close your eyes. We generally end classes with this pose, Shavasana. A chance to rest, a chance to reset, a chance for your body on a subtle level to process the work, to work to remember these poses for the next time you do them. Bend your knees, turn to the side, and press yourself up. And because it's good practice, place the prop under your hips and sit on it. Sit cross-legged and sit up tall. Thanks for practicing. Namaste. I can remember when I was brand new to yoga and how intimidating it was, the idea of going into a class with a bunch of people who already knew the poses, and here was me knowing nothing. So my idea with these classes is to help you get over that fear, to help you start to understand the poses so that you feel more confident and that you can go into classes feeling like you have some idea of what's going on. I know that you can't learn everything in a short class like this, but I hope that it will help you, and you can come back to it again and again to refine your work. I've created a whole series of these classes, so if you look in the description for this video, you'll find a link to those classes. There's like a standing pose class, there's a back bends class, there's a twists class, and there's this class, which is the 10 essential poses, as determined by me, for any brand new yoga student. I highly recommend you check it out. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, just click on my picture right over there to subscribe. Thanks. See you soon.